Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the podcast. We are joined by the great, the podcast veteran, Amy Hare. Amy, how are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me this morning.
No, thank you. We were talking about the bonding, the team bonding experience that that happened last night.
Yeah, no, that's what's so great about these meetings is that we can all interact, not just, faculty, but the families and trainees. And so I got a text last night. It was still pretty early. Hey, we're all doing karaoke. Come join us. And I was like, ooh, but I like to dance. I'm pretty outgoing. And so there were a lot of people there. There's probably like 50 of us. And
Wow.
some of the moms brought me on stage, and I was like, how did I get roped into this? But that's what's wonderful about this conference, the fact that we can bond and get to know each other on a different level. And I really think it helps collaboration.
Any closeted, talented singer that you identified?
Actually, Doug Burren, he is a researcher at Baylor. He does neck research in piglets. And he, I believe he sings in church too, but he has a really great voice.
Uh-huh.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. That's
So many of the people in our network have a lot of talents.
Yeah, talents, yeah.
Outside of medicine. So that's good. Well, I think what you're describing is, what we've been trying to do the last few days is share a little bit about, one, the information, but what makes this conference so special. And despite everything we've done, I think it's not the same as being here in person and having those opportunities for networking and connection. But I think we have been able to share some of the science that's being presented. And you moderated the track on Monday, The Science and Power of Human Milk for Neck Reduction. So tell us maybe some of the take-home points. I think we know that milk is important, but specifically, for neck, why do we have to get mom's own milk?
Yeah, no, I think it was a great session because it brought together, we did talk about the science, but we kind of started with why human milk, and Sarah Taylor kind of started off with that and what we know and all the amazing benefits. And then Lars came and talked about HMOs and kind of scientific advances with that. And then we brought in Aloka at the end that talked about health disparities and breastfeeding disparities. And then Kimberly, she spoke at the beginning and at the end. She was our parent family representative. And she just had such a powerful story as well. So takeaways, so one, we all have to work together. I know that sounds obvious, but I think having all of us in a room together talking about our different expertise, but we can't continue to study, human milk science more unless we have ways to increase mom's milk. So I would say the teamwork, learning, definitely we just have barriers still.
and go beyond just, Mom, give us some milk.
Basically, but who was it? It was Shuttle Shot.
Yeah.
He spoke up and he said, "What do we do with the OBs? Because we're here, we're neonatologists, we're scientists, we have families here, but no OBs, and we need their partnership." And so that was like one of the huge takeaways I had. I was like, okay, I need to meet with OB again because it's about education and communication.
Right.
They support it. They just in my center, for example, they don't even know the extent of our milk bank.
Yeah.
And how we prep milk and kind of all these nuances. And I'm like, that's on me. I need to meet with them. But I would say that. And then Lars kind of gave us hope. There's innovation on the way.
Right.
There's, potential, isolating components of human milk and turning that into potential treatments.
To your point about education, so obviously, we know the science. We know milk is good. We know it is one of, at this point, the only things we have to help mitigate the risk of neck. And I think sometimes we don't trust parents enough to receive all of the information. So what are your recommendations for when we are counseling parents about pumping early in this day? How much do we tell them? What information do we give them?
Yeah, no, and that came up out of the session as well. So one, we need to start prenatally. So that's where our partnership with OB begins. But two, Kimberly, she brought up, from her experience, she said she just wanted to know the information, meaning she didn't understand initially the importance or how her milk was medicine for her baby. And she's like, that was the only thing I could do was get up and pump in the middle of the night for my baby to help him. And so I think kind of bridging that gap, what was interesting that came out of it is not just education to families and to moms, but trying to be careful and sensitive about how we mention donor milk.
Right.
So a lot of us are using donor milk now. But for Kimberly, for example, it almost felt like, wait, my milk's not good enough? Like, I haven't even started pumping yet, and you're asking me about donor milk. So then Aloka Patel brought up a good point. Well, maybe we should wait. You know, like get mom pumping, get that, colostrum early on. So kind of just nuances like that I haven't actually thought about. And I'm like, wait a minute. Yeah, that could totally be sending the wrong message. So I think through Aloka's work and some other people kind of pulling that out and recognizing how we need to address that differently.
I love the level of sophistication in how we can approach that. That's so good.
Yeah, I mean, I think our communication matters. I think sometimes it's even presented that maybe donor milk is even equivalent to mom's own milk, and we know that's not the case. I picked this up somewhere, but I like the idea that if we're going to use donor milk, it's just as a bridge until the best stuff is available.
Exactly. No, I think definitely telling moms about that. And then you ask like how often or how soon moms need to pump, and it was reemphasized 6 hours. So there used to be studies or there's one study where they pumped right after C-section, had the moms pump, but 6 hours. So mom just needs to get a pump within 6 hours and start pumping every 2 to 3 hours.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Not only are you here moderating, but you're also part of the Next Society's Scientific Advisory Council. And we know that you're obviously an expert in the field, so it's not surprising that they've invited you to be on the council. But what does it mean to you? Why are you involved with the Next Society?
Oh, that's a great question. And I forget how long I've been involved. I've been involved since 2014.
Which is when it began in 2014, right?
Yeah, pretty early on. And so one, I became a neonatologist because of NEC. I had a baby in the NICU. I like the NICU. I like to, because for lots of reasons. But I had a baby that was diagnosed with NEC, and it really stuck with me. And so then that's where my passion for human milk and nutrition and how...
Like when you were a resident.
Yeah, when I was a resident. Thank you. Yeah, the resident. Intern probably. I decided a little late, but point being, NEC has always been kind of something I've always wanted to help reduce and help study, and so then it was just a natural fit. I knew Jay because Jay was one of the first members, and got to meet Jen and just hearing her story, and the other moms, how powerful it was. And so it's more than just advocacy or moving the bar forward. It's at this point, I've been involved for a very long time, and just seeing how far we've come in such a short amount of time and the work we've done. I also love, I was talking to you in the hallway about this yesterday, that it's great to grow trainees and young physician scientists and educators and, that want to work on this disease and move the bar forward. So That's another reason why I've really enjoyed being involved, just the ability to bring people together that maybe otherwise wouldn't be.
Yeah, and that's how we're going to get trainees to learn about collaboration early on and learn how to branch out and collaborate with others, because that's something that in the 20 years ago model of fellowship and residency was you stayed within your center usually. So I think this is kind of cool that you guys have all these programs for mentoring and so on.
Yeah. And I told you, I felt like this was the friendliest group of experts that anybody could engage with. You're a powerful but not non-intimidating bunch. So I definitely think if somebody has an interest in studying NEC, that they should feel comfortable about reaching out, because it sounds like you guys want to continue collaborating and bringing in young people who are interested in the work.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, no, I think we have a great group, and we love to help and collaborate, and that's what this part of this conference is about, is being visible and approachable. And I've met some people at this conference I've never really talked to in person, maybe an email, maybe we've been on a Zoom together. So,
and it's not the same. To be in person is there's so much more.
Right.
Yeah.
So, even someone like me who's been involved a long time, and I've met a lot of people at different conferences. I probably met at least 10 or 15 people that I was like, wow, yeah, we need to talk.
Yeah.
I've just emailed with you, and then the karaoke helps. Just getting, getting to know each other on a slightly different level that makes you comfortable, and I think it does help collaboration moving forward.
Yeah.
That's the key then.
We're going to want to ask you, Daphna, who are the intimidating bunch? Because now you've created a ranking, and now I want to know.
I think neonatology in general is a very collaborative and supportive place.
Absolutely. Amy, thank you so much for dropping by.
Awesome. Thank you for having me. Thank you all for being here. It means a lot. We've loved having you.
Thank you.
Thank you.